Hello, 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 and welcome back to FRLT. We return once again. This time it is for Tier 1. Of course, on Sunday you would have seen us commentate over at Austria for round 1 of 4s. We now come for Tier 1, and it is at another track that sounds rather similar. It's not Austria, this time it's Australia. So it's a slightly different circuit. And for this week, as we're going to see, Australia, Melbourne, 5.278 kilometers, 3.279 miles, 14 turns, 3 DR zones down, the pit straight, second straight, and then the back straight. Of course, it was 4, then reduced down to 3 I believe it was last year or this year. Looking at the calendar though, as you can see, here is the Tier 1 calendar. I did finally get a graphic for it. Australia is round number 1. Then we'll be going to China, Singapore, and finishing off in Vegas before we go for Christmas. Over our winter break, then we will return on the 8th of January for Monza, Austria, Britain, and Kota before we have our final break week of the season where we go to Abu Dhabi and Belgium, the finale, which was the opening race of last season. I am alone here in the comms box for tonight, so I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad. I'm going to cry. No, I'm kidding. Waiting on one driver, I do believe it is. I don't think they've added me or anything. I don't know who is the driver we're missing on it. It is an RRE driver, specifically, who we're missing. I believe it is Talha that we're missing for tonight. Not online or anything, so we might be having to race with 17, not 18, of course. We should be having 18. Hello, Epic. Why did I say that? Hello, Timon. I just saw the giant Epic, and I was about to say hi, Timon, but I just see Epic, and I just go, yo, I'm gonna say my own name, like in a really weird way. That was really odd. I know too many people with the same name as me as well. There's a few Epics, too many. So here are your teams, actually, because I'll just read them out now while I'm here. In the Mercedes, we have Peck. In the Williams, we have ETE. In the Aston Martin, we have TTRE. In the McLaren, we have AB. In the Red Bull, we have RRE. A lot of E's going round. In the RB, we have AMS. In the Haas, we have TIE. In the Ferrari, we have HRT. In the Sauber, we have LR. And in the Alpine, we have TGF. We're just going to... We are going to ready up now as we have waited for RRE's second driver to join. Yeah, he has not joined yet, so I guess we might have to be racing without them here tonight. It is one driver. We are missing just one driver. I do believe it is. It's somebody. HRT gonna dominate the walls. Cold. Very cold to say about your own team, but we go. We run with it. So we're coming to Melbourne now. I'll just switch on the lovely in-game view, and I'll bring it up on my PC as well, because for some reason I am dumb. We're getting ready for qualifying. We'll be waiting the next few moments while drivers choose their tyres or whatever. But so HRT, we're waiting on one HRT. I believe it's Evie we're waiting on, who I don't believe has received an invite yet. I've invited him already, I believe. So we're just waiting for qualifying to get underway. We'll be waiting for the next few seconds. Next few moments, I should really say. Tonight's going to be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting race, of course. I believe it's a 29-lap race. And we're finally into qualifying. I'll quickly invite EV, who I believe is the only driver missing from this, is EV. Let me find EV quick. I've invited him, so let's just hope he joins the right team. So as you can see, Rajic retires because there was a late lineup submission for Peck. They'll be serving one this week and next week, as I didn't want to particularly rip apart teams to start off the season. Evie, first driver out on track. There's somebody who is missing. Somebody's missing from this. Somebody is missing very slightly, and I'm trying to figure out who it is. Because we're missing one driver. We're missing somebody from the grid. Because we've got both Ferraris now. Have we only got one Haas? No. I'm trying to figure out who we only have one of. Because it's an odd number, so we'll only have one team. We've only got one Red Bull, which is RE, which is one Red Bull. And I think I know who it is. Who's in that one car? Yeah, so it's the one driver we're kind of waiting on that we haven't found. But we're going to be riding on board with Evie on his lap for HRT. Let's see how he's going to do for his first run. They're out in the Ferrari, of course. Heading down the pit straight he goes. Now, heading down towards turn 1. It's a hard braking into turn 1. Got to throw the car through. Very smooth, though, from the Ferrari. I can't lie. Very smooth from the Ferrari itself. Now, heading down towards turn 3 into the braking zone. Got to throw the car through rather nicely. Again, pretty nice from Evie. He goes wide and does invalidate. And that is his first lap over and done very, very early. We got AMS Misha, I believe it's pronounced, on a lap. I'm hoping I pronounced it correctly. Misha on a lap. Decent first sector. AMS hoping to become champions once again, since they were the Season 2 champions. They're hoping to get back-to-back titles. FG were our Season 1 champions. AMS Season 2. AMS hoping for a third title. For a second title in a third season. Heading round the fast corners, he invalidates as well. Disappointment for AMS also on their opening lap. Not a lot of teams getting away with a decent lap so far. We go to Soviet now. Soviet Mario, which is the coldest name I've ever heard. Now into the braking zone. Bit of an old corner there. Quite an old corner that they changed. I've never liked it since they changed it. But still, a corner that is on the track. Now heading into the hairpin. And kind of slow, just trying to keep it safe. He has got a Ferrari in front of him. He has got two Ferraris specifically in front of him. He's going to actually get a tow down the pit straight. And a 1 minute 16.315 is the first lap set. Immediately beaten by Takubi. He does a 1 minute 15.430. Very quick to be beaten there. I believe we've got TGF Blackberry coming up to the line next. He slots in P2, 1 minute 15.973. Pretty strong there from TGF in the Alpine. Exactly what they kind of would have been hoping for a start. And Habe, he goes round for TTRE. Disappointment on their first run. We've then got Rusted Bolt, who's only on an outlap. Next driver to cross the line would have been the first driver, TIE driver. And it's Vortex across the line. He goes P2 now. Very close to Takubi. Very, very close. Incredibly strong lap from Vortex himself. Exactly what he would have been looking for. AMS Eric comes round, also invalidating his lap. More disappointment for himself. Nothing really working out there. BQC Games also not working out for him either. More disappointment. Evie has set another lap. He's also invalidated. A lot of drivers struggling to make their way around and complete a full lap. Chazzy, also one of them, who also fails to set a full lap. Quite a lot of drivers not making their way around too successfully, I would say. I think we will be seeing Christian go for another lap in the TGF car. Yes, he is. He is going for this final run, and then he's going to be slow on his in-lap. Very slow on his in-lap, I must say. Coming up to the line, let's see how the man of Christian's going to do. It's P5 and slowest so far. And in the first runs, not a lot of drivers being able to get in a decent lap so far. So it's been a bit of a struggle from some. Rusted Bolt goes into 6th, 1 minute 17. He's quite far off the pace, about 9/10 off of the pace at the moment. So definitely something more needed from TIE for the moment. A bit more is needed from themselves. AMS Eric has also invalidated his lap again. More disappointment for AMS. Neither driver setting a first right now. By the way, I just want to make it clear. Last season, and I've got this crazy stat in my notes, AMS last season were the only team to successfully complete every first and second run with at least one driver making it and not a double invalidation, and that's immediately broken. So at least one driver would have finished their lap in AMS. They did last season. Sadly, not this season. We got Groat Smurf. I can't get over that. But coming round for RRE here tonight. And the second driver did join. Darot did join. I'm trying to say these names as well as I can. I do apologise if they're completely wrong, but I am who I am. Zirconium, by the way, goes P6. He's half a second off the pace. Not much. Bit faster than Rusted Bolt, but only about 0.3 faster. Groat Smurf now making his way round. He's got to put in a good lap. Peck Dave. They've decided to do the double. They've decided to take the double qualifying ban this week, which is nice to see that they don't want to risk their rest of the season or any more of the season for it. But you can see Groat Smurf making his way round. He's now second driver here tonight. First driver to be setting a lap. Speedy from the Red Bull. Got to see some performance coming from them this season. They're hoping for something big. Sadly, I didn't have time to interview any managers before the opening race of the season, which would have been nice to hear what the managers expect to see. No LR lineup tonight, as both their drivers had to back out rather late. And so some disappointment for them. And across the line, Groat Smurf 1 minute 17.0. Slow. Quite a slow lap coming from himself there. Quite a struggle. Looks kind of good on the card. Not sliding around, but it's not fast enough. Some disappointment though. Ooh. RE saying about how some drivers are a bit slower than others on their laps. We'll have to see. We got BQC Games now making his way around. He's hoping to set a full lap this time without invalidating. One of the teams that does look to be a bit off of the pace is RE. They've said about how he is now slowest of all, by the way. Rusted Bolt improved and went P6. But their PB's not showing through in time trial, as I've been told it's a 15.9 for this track. So some of the drivers struggling slightly around this track. Red Bull in front. That is an RRE driver. That's Darot who's in front. BQC coming up to the line. Let's see what he's going to do. He's set a decent lap here. He goes P3. Solid. Setting it in the middle between P2 and P4 in lap time as well. So pretty solid there from the Ferrari man. Very much needed from the HRT driver. His teammate flying past him on a lap as well at the same time. I believe we have a Haas coming up to the line. That is Vortex, who's on his lap. Darot, he's invalidated already on his lap, so some disappointment there for himself. I think it's Alpine next. Yeah, this is an Alpine. Then we've got a McLaren. That's Takubi, who's on a lap as well. Rusted Bolt is coming into the pits. I'm trying to find a driver who isn't on a lap, by the way. I am trying to find somebody who isn't on a lap. But everybody's on laps. Still, I am shocked, by the way, by the amount of drivers who haven't been able to set a lap yet. Only 9 drivers have set laps so far in this qualifying, by the way. Only 9. 9 drivers, which is really shocking. That's about to become 10, but about half the grid have set laps so far. So as EV goes fastest of all, what a lap! What a lap from himself, faster than Takubi by 28 thousandths of a second, by the way. 28 thousandths, right up there, very close between these top 3 who are split by around 95 thousandths of a second. But this is proving that it could be a very interesting week we could be seeing from drivers. Groatsmurf, by the way, improved on his lap. He found some time in his lap there. Exactly what he would have been wanting. Takubi is down at the moment. Takubi is down on his lap. He was 28,000 slower. Is he going to improve? Yes, he is! He finds a 10th and goes to a 1 minute 15.317, which is now going to set the pace for everybody else to try and improve on their laps. Christian, I don't believe he improved. I think Misha, P4. I was trying to find who went up there. Misha now P4. Slots him right behind Vortex. P4 he goes for AMS. I believe we got Barbant next. Barbant! Fastest of all, 1 minute 15.157 is what the ABE driver's done. A 1-2 at the moment for themselves. AMS Eric goes P5. AMS proving to be slightly off of the pace, quite a bit off of the pace, I must say. But this is something else going on. Very, very interesting. Very interesting to see. Chazzy went P5, by the way. Interesting one from TTRE to get into P5. 1,000th of a second faster than AMS Eric. Interesting lap time there from himself. We could see Zirconium trying to set a lap for ETE. He has already set his lap, I do believe. I don't think he's pushing. He's done now. But a very interesting middle section of qualifying. TGF find themselves in a bit of a dark place at the moment. P10 and P11. P10 and P11. Interesting position that both TGF drivers have found themselves in. Quite far back, I think. Have I just seen two cars spin on the same corner? Because I think Barbant's just spun. I think Barbant's just spun on his in-lap. He's got no... Has he got any fuel? He does have fuel. He's just slowly getting back to the pits. My bad. I thought... It said 0. It does say 0 on it. So I was kind of worried he'd lost all fuel there for a minute. So, bit close. Zirconium, though. Is he on a push lap? No, he isn't. He's on an in-lap. Rusted Bolt. Rusted Bolt I want to look at. Rusted Bolt is on a lap. He's already up by almost 0.3 of a second in the first sector. So he's finding some time. He's finding quite a bit of time in his first sector. Christian has left the session, so maybe some connection problems for TGF could play in later on. Make sure to invite him, or hopefully he'll join back before the end of the session, as I will not be able to invite. Now, into the final sector he goes. It looks like some drivers did just have some spins and stuff, so a couple of problems coming for some drivers. Now, coming into the penultimate corner now, into the final corner goes Rusted Bolt. TIE hoping for a strong performance, currently P4 and P13. Strong points could be on the table. Rusted Bolt finds almost half a second, but it's still P13. For all of that time found, it isn't enough. Ooh, interesting one to see there from himself. Whoa, Vortex into the wall. I just saw Vortex into the wall. EV going for an early final run this will be. This is the final run for him. This is all he's got. He's gone really early. But to be fair, he's not going to have any traffic. Same as Delwo, who's the only driver yet to set a lap. But Evie's got to set a good lap here. He's got to improve by at least 0.2. He's up by a 10th in the first sector. Actually, if I'm being honest here, HRT might actually be taking a bit of a battle to ABE. This will be interesting to see whether HRT actually do bring an actual attempt, an attack on these guys. It is going to be very interesting to see whether they can or they can't. Because HRT, especially EV, he's had the pace. His teammate is a few tenths away. But Evie's had the pace for a lot of this qualifying. I must say, he's been up there. He did go fastest for about a minute or so. So he has been there on pace. Let's see whether he can improve enough at the end of his lap. He does, but only by 68 thousandths. He gets right on the back of Takubi, but it still isn't enough by the end of the lap to improve position, but it does pull him further ahead of Vortex, which is, of course, going to be an important thing to see. Now, heading around the final corner, Dewote, let's see what he could do. He hasn't invalidated this time, but it's not going to be a strong lap. It's a rather weak lap, a 1 minute 17.6. He finds himself very much on his own, so he goes straight. He goes straight. Dewote retires from the session. I've made it very clear about retirements, but people don't like to listen. But yeah, so that is that now done. We're now going to be looking somebody else. Who's the closest driver? It's actually Evie's teammate. It's Evie's teammate, BQC, who's the next one to start off his lap and his final lap in qualifying. Quite a lot of drivers still in the pit lane, by the way. Still a lot of drivers coming out of the pit lane as well. Can BQC improve? This is the big thing here. HRT, they really want this performance. They're both inside of the top 9. They're both in the top 10. They're both in the points for the moment. And BQC is already up by 10th in the first sector. So that's already going to, by the way, bring up to P8. So if he can find 3 tenths in his lap, he could be going into P4 and slotting behind his teammates. So HRT really bringing the performance here in Australia where they need it. And across the line, he is almost 2 tenths up. He is almost 2 tenths up. That will send him up into P8 for the moment. Just P8. If he can find another 10th, he will be going up to P5 and possibly P4. So he's just got to find that time all the way up to the line. He is pushing everything he's got on this lap. He wants to be closer to his teammate in the end. And that's all that every driver wants. They want to be close to their teammate and possibly in front of their teammate. But BQC knows that the chance of him getting in front is not on his side. But let's see when he crosses the line. He's going to set a 1 minute 15.5. It's close. It's so close to getting ahead of Misha, Eric, and Chazzy. But he sits just behind, literally, by 24 thousandths of a second. He's right in behind on this. Really, he is. It's really unlucky, I must say. It's a really unlucky sort of place where he's found himself in. I do feel bad for him to some degree. I do feel bad. Blackberry not improving, by the way. 100th down in his middle sector. So he's not finding time. TGF struggling to find their qualifying form a little bit here. And across the line he goes. It's not going to be an improvement. It's disappointment for themselves. And Eric crosses the line. He improves by 3 tenths. He goes to P2. Front row, by the way. Front row from AMS. Let's see. Misha can't improve. He's invalidated, so it's disappointment for him. We've got a Williams. That is Soviet Mario who's going to come across the line. Is he going to improve? He does. He goes to P11 ahead of Christian, who's also finished qualifying. This is getting rather close. Chazzy next up. He's improving by 10.5 in his middle sector. Let's see if he holds it up, because that will send him quite fast, actually, and quite far up. He does. He goes P5. He reclaims that place that he needed. And across the line, Grote improves. He stays P14, though. And BQC ends his lap. Barbans. Takubi fastest. Barbans will cross the line next. Barbans even faster at the end. He went even faster. 1 minute 14.9. Honestly, crazy lap time we saw from him. I don't have any words for that, really. Don't really have any words for that. I think the last driver to cross the line is Zirconium. Yes, it is. He will be the last driver to cross the line along with Eric. Crazy. Crazy. But Zirconium does improve, by the way. He finds half a second. He's not going to be at the bottom. He will be P14. Head of RE fully. But bit of a struggle from ETE. 11th and 14th. Same for TGF. 10th and 12th. But that's an incredible lap time set from Barbants there. Next level lap time from Barbants to Takubi. Incredible. Incredible. So apparently BQC lost 2 tenths in the final corners. So BQC could have been up into P5 or possibly even P4 here. So he could have been much higher. But incredible performance from everybody. Really incredible. Strong performance from everybody. So, let's go through the qualifying order. Barbans is fastest, followed by his teammate Takubi in second. MS Eric is third with Evie in fourth. Chazzy in fifth. Vortex in sixth. Misha in seventh. BQC in eighth. Hubei in ninth. And Blackberry 10th. Soviet Mario is 11th, followed by Christian, Rusted Bolt, Zirconium, Groatsmurf, Darot, Peck, Dave, Rajic in last, actually. I was expecting to go down to 20th. I'm too used to it. I'm going to be... So I do have to invite somebody quickly. We are going to be going early, sadly. And it is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in Australia for FRLT Tier 1, Round 1 in Season 3. And it is a good start from the ABE front two. They've gotten away incredibly nicely. It's an incredibly good start from those two. Misha making his way up the order as well. Now heading down towards the next couple of corners. And now, as they head through, ABE leads 1-2. Incredibly good start from them. They're leading away very nicely, especially Barbance. He's gotten away incredibly nicely from the rest of the grid. I must say, he's gotten away very, very well from the rest. His teammate struggling. Takubi really struggling to keep up with him. Half a second behind already. At the start of the lap, we saw Groatsmurf get past Zirconium. They're actually battling round the long corner, and now that is that. It is done. Zirconium holds on to P12. He makes up a few places here, so decent start from him. See Peck Dave also making up quite a lot of places. He's already up to 14th already, so he's made up quite a lot of places so far. But we look at this lead, a great start and a great lead from these guys. Very, very, very strong start from a few of these drivers already early in the race. AB getting away incredibly well, especially Barbance. He's had the start over his teammate. His teammate slow to get going, really, at the start. He really didn't get away too well. Tyre-wise, they're on the same tyres as well, so it's interesting to see already half a second difference. Barbance really finding the performance in his car over his teammate. 6/10 that now, as you can just see something is up with Takubi. He is struggling to keep up with his teammate through the corners. It's only really down the straights that he's going to keep up, but now we're going to be seeing DRS activated as well. So it's been activated here on lap 2. We're going to see that continue as they make their way round, and now heading down this long curved straight, you can just see the gap just dissolving. All of that lap 1 lead gained, and that's all going to go down within a few seconds already. Mistakes coming from drivers does happen, but it is the way it is for now. And now heading through into the next couple of corners, you can see this, of course, Sector 3, almost entirely impossible to overtake through. But Takubi's doing a good job of trying to keep up and staying within DRS, and at the same time also making sure this all works. But we're going to be looking at the tyres. Everybody is on mediums. Everyone is on mediums. By the way, Peck Dave had to stop. He had to do a pit stop. He's down in 18th now, so damage for him. And Peck not getting away with a good start to their race. 14th and 18th now. The double qualifying ban really hurting them. We saw a move further back. Christian made his move up into 15th. There he goes. Some struggles from some drivers, but look at this. We've got some side-by-side action. Harpe and BQC fighting over position. Harpe makes his place up, and he's up into 8th place now, ahead of BQC. BQC not BQC not having a good start to his race here. You can see position changes, down 1 place. Harpe up 1 as well. Good start from Rajic, I must say, up 4 places already in this race. Now, here comes Vortex. He's making the move on Misha, and that's a good move. And Chazzy also making the move on EV. EV not having the start he would have wanted, already down to 5th in this race. It is actually a 4-team fight at the moment inside of the top 5 for that podium. So it's quite interesting to see that even though the ABE drivers were sort of on their own pace were really sort of almost on their own in qualifying pace, they've very much found themselves race pace. They're not pulling away from AMS, they're not pulling away from HRT, and they're not pulling away from a lot of these guys at the moment, and especially TTRE, with the whole grid still within DRS down all the way to, I believe, 13th. So a lot of the grid still within DRS. We've also got Rajic, who is catching up slowly, by the way. BQC making the move on Harpe for P8 once again. Round the outside, I can see Williams trying to go for the move. It is Soviet Mario. He's going to try and send the move. He's going to try and make it work. He's just didn't have the pace off the exit. That outside line proving to be strong. Dave puts in the fast slap of the race. No point, of course, for being 18th. But it is something coming from these drivers at the moment. But you can see a very mixed top 10 we can see here. We've got both AB drivers, both HRT drivers, both AMS drivers, and both TTRE drivers. So a solid sort of couple of drivers. You can see some side-by-side action. But further ahead, Harpe again trying to make up some places. Ooh. I'm looking at this VCARB, and I'm looking at this RB, and I'm looking at the McLarens in front, and I'm just seeing craziness. And by the way, so Mario dropping through the grid. He's had a bit of a moment, I think. He's dropped down now outside of DRS. That's down to now 12 drivers, all within DRS of each other. And that's going to change because now Harpe is also outside of second of the car in front. So it's now down to 8 drivers already. You can see one driver can cut off a whole lot of drivers further behind. So it's a little bit of a difficult thing to watch. And it's a little bit difficult to be part of. But you can see BQC really hanging on for dear life to DRS here. He's really trying. Blackberry trying to go round the outside. He does get past Harpe. Damage! Massive contact! I'm not sure who the damage has come from. Oh! RE in the wall. It is Zirconium who's gotten the damage. Groatsmurf in the wall. Christian retires. Christian's retired. I'm not sure what has happened there. I'm not sure what happened. I think Groatsmurf reversing has actually put Christian in the wall. Christian out. TGF. Shocker there. Safety car is now out. This is going to change things up for teams because Barbance actually got a decent lead. He got to about 8/10 a second ago, just before the safety car. He got to about 8/10, so he was actually pulling quite far in front of his teammate Takubi. But now they're going to be going to the pits. They've got to choose who is going to go in, who isn't. It's going to be rather interesting to see. Yeah. Everybody coming into the pits though, so it is going to be a double stack by ABE. It's again bit of team strategy. Takubi backing up the grid, but he's also kind of gotten lost because he's actually dropped behind a couple of cars. He's dropped behind Vortex, he's dropped behind EV, and he's dropped behind Eric. He's actually dropped behind 3 drivers doing that. EV gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Disappointment there. First penalty of the race. 6 laps in. It's under safety car somehow. Zirconium. I just want to say. Zirconium. Sorry, I was trying to get to it. Zirconium there. In 11th. Even though he... Very interesting to see. Yeah, I'm just looking at this and I'm finding it quite interesting to see how, even though he got damage and he's had to stop to get his front wing fixed, he's still 11th. He's still on like the edge of the points. He's still right there. Some people are not happy with Takubi some people are not happy with Takubi, specifically the drivers who were behind him, because Takubi was slowing down during the safety car. He was slowing down during the safety car to give a gap, and I think some people are quite annoyed that he did that, actually. Is it me, or has that RB gotten damage? Yes, he has. AMS Eric has gotten damage, actually, from that. So could this just be... Could that be contact under the safety car? Be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see this, because if this was contact between AMS Eric and Takubi, and as it's being said, some brake checking came in. Eric has to now come in. Of course, he's going to have to come into the pits again. Interesting one there. Interesting one. AMS not getting what they wanted. Zirconium now up into the top 10. ET finally making it to their top 10. Into the top 10 finally. We actually have, I believe we have 6 or 7 teams in the top 10. Because we have ETE, we have PEC, we have TTRE. We of course have HRT, which are 4 teams. AMS, which are 5. 5 teams. 6. We actually have 7 teams. We do have 7 or 8 teams now inside the top 10, which is pretty shocking. Only 1 retirement so far. Safety car still going. We are going to, hopefully, we should be getting racing on lap number 8. 21 laps still to go. These drivers have got to take these hard tyres a very long way. But behind the safety car, they're kind of saving the tyres for longer. They're able to get around the track with getting less tyre wear, which is going to be something interesting for them. Of course, MS Eric has now got to fight his way through the field. He's, at least it is the safety car. Safety car is in this lap, but it is going to be interesting to see because he's now got to try and fight his way through the field, get back up into the top 10, hopefully catch up to his teammate Misha, who does need to get into who's P6, who does need to get in front because BlackBerry jumped a lot of people, and the TGF strategy masterclass under safety car has brought him out, even though Christian did DNF and have a crash. BlackBerry is sitting in 5th and with a very good chance to get a podium because he's come out on hard tyres. His pace hasn't been bad either, but it's up to Barbance for when he goes. He's got a lot of drivers following. He's got 16 drivers following him at the moment. When is he going to go? He's leaving it quite late. When is he going to go for it? Whoa, cutting off the Ferrari quite a bit. He's waiting. He is waiting to go. And he is going now. He's left it rather late. He hasn't gotten a great gap, actually, from EV. He left it slightly late there. He really struggled to get the gap off of the start. It was not the start he would have wanted. But it's actually been... Whoa! Oh my god! Cars everywhere! Everybody going everywhere. 3 wide, I believe that was. Off for the exit of turn number 3. Holy! What happened there? Bunch of drivers colliding. Somebody got pushed into the walls. It was Vortex who got pushed into the wall. It was Rajic, I believe it was, who was part of that incident. I'm not sure what happened there. Takubi being told what was he doing. Takubi again being called out for something. He's gotten full front wing damage. Ooh, 3 wide I think it was. I think he tried to dive down the inside or something. But from this again, TGF are just coming back with this. Because BlackBerry's P2 now, by the way. P2. He's gained 8 places. He's gained the most places. Actually, Rajic gained the most places with 9. But another safety car. Interesting to see here. What drivers just trying to go too racy off at the start, trying to defend. Holy. There's going to be, I think we're going to be seeing quite a few reports after tonight's race about this. Very interesting to see there. Takubi in the pits, EV in the pits, Eric in the pits, along with Vortex as well. 4 drivers all going into the pits. I will say it's an interesting incident there because it's the second time I've seen in the chat, by the way, it's the second time in the chat I've seen Takubi's name be mentioned about having an incident or causing something. We'll see in the reports, of course, and what the teams think. We'll see what they think of it, and all of the reports we'll probably get. But we've got an interesting one, because we've now got 3 different teams on the 3 top steps. We've got ABE, an unexpected TGF, and AMS. We've got 5 teams inside of the top 5. This has changed things up, because Eric and Takubi, who have definitely not been best of friends in this race so far, are now going to be next to each other, 15th and 16th. Evie as well added into that. It's 3 drivers, well, it's 4 actually, including Vortex. It's an interesting one, I will say. We're going to see another 4-way sort of fight lower down in the order, but they're not going to be happy with each other. TIE, out of nowhere, Rusted Bolt, the man who's probably been off the pace, one of the most drivers off of the pace, is now P10 and on the edge of the points. Everybody under safety car. They're getting some extra laps in on these hard tyres that they get to have lower tyre wear. They're getting to go a bit longer, which of course is great. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, because that was a big incident as well. But it's allowed AMS Misha, who hasn't done a lot of overtaking in this race, let me be fair. He hasn't done a lot of overtaking. But it's allowed him to climb into P3 and be on the podium for AMS and score at least 15 points here. No team at the moment will score any more than 25 points or 26 points with Barbants for the moment. Everybody's in the pits again. I'm not sure what they're going in for. They're going back in onto the hard tyres. Don't know why they're trying to stretch the stint out on the hards. Very strange strategy we're seeing from these guys. A very odd and strange strategy we're seeing, that these guys, I think, are going back onto those hard tyres again. You see Barbant's leading them round. He's trying to slow them down a bit so the others will catch up, saving some tyre wear possibly. We should be getting racing onto lap 11 now. Let's hope we get more than a lap, or more than 3 corners of racing, by the way, because that's all we got was 3 corners. But yeah, definitely some interesting strategies. Now, the one thing that Takubi has now possibly caused is that he's now left his teammate on his own in the lead. The closest teammates together are actually Chazzy and Harpe, and then Zirconium and Soviet Mario, who are 5th, 6th, and 8th and 9th, respectively. ET were not looking at points today, by the way. They were not looking at points. They were looking at sort of P12 and P4, I think P12 and P13 or P11 or something. So ET were not looking at anything great. Safety car is now in this lap, so again, up to Barbants to lead. He has led every lap so far, by the way. So by the end of this lap, he would have led a full 10 laps. So it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to be leading so many laps. He's going to be very surprised that he's led so many laps to start off. But he's going to, again, have to lead. He's got to control the grid. He can go when he wants to go as soon as the safety car comes in. And you can see he's just leaving that gap. Of course, he's got to be careful this time, because the last time it did not work out for him. Because, of course, we saw Evie was all over the back of him. Evie was right there. Is Barbans going to leave it again? I think Barbans is going to try and leave it. Is he going to go yet? He's going now. He's gone for it. He's actually gotten away rather well. I must say, he's actually gotten away very well from it. Misha hasn't. It's actually quite a spread out restart. Driver's not getting away too well, especially Takubi. He's really far behind, already over a second behind. And this is just the restart as well. But Barbans, very good start from himself. But now, heading into turn 3 he goes. Very strong through there. EV now making a move. He's trying to make a move on Groatsmurf. He's going to get that drive, and he does. And so will the AMS driver of Eric. Whoa! The Red Bull half spun. Very close there, but that has now allowed Eric back up into P14. Harpe gets a 3-second time penalty. Penalty starting to add up for a few drivers. Dawot and EV, Radric and Harpe all with penalties. You can see, look at this Chazzy making the move on BQC. Up into P4 he goes. Don't mind the safety car graphic in the top left. It's just there for the sake of it. Now you can see Soviet Mario getting past his teammate. Ooh, was that Zirconium I saw going off? I think that was Zirconium who went off. So disappointment again for ECE. Qualifying was not good for them. And now it doesn't look like the race has gotten much better. That bit of that going off track, of course, dropping one of their drivers outside of the top 10 now. The race just not getting much better. Barbance pulling off the lead, but not pulling too far away. Already the top 4 kind of on their own now, over a second gap between 4th and 5th. BQC not having a great start, but Barbance very dominant today. Of course, he's led a full 11 laps so far of this race. He's led 100% so far of the season, if we were counting it up to this point. And now EV trying to make his way past Zirconium. He does it with ease. Whoa! Very, very close between Eric and Zirconium there. Almost entirely pushed off. Rusted Bolt gets a 3-second time penalty. Zirconium is really struggling. He's really slow. I'm not sure what's happened to him here. He's really struggling. Takubi's now getting overtaken by Vortex, who has now gone by with ease. But what a weird start. What a weird, strange few moments, a lap or two that Zirconium's having, because he's really struggling. Vortex gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Drivers starting to rack up some penalties here tonight. Nothing so coming out too lucky here. Vortex down the inside on Zirconium. Zirconium fighting it though. He's not going to let past the TIE driver too easily. They're still going at it into the hairpin. Look at Zirconium. He pushes Vortex onto the grass. Vortex is going to come into the pits. What is he going to do? We might be seeing our second retirement of the night. I believe we will be seeing our second retirement of the night. We do. Vortex retires from the session. Barbance making his way round though. That lead reducing. It really looks like Barbance and Blackberry are on their own in this race, because Chazzy is 8/10 behind that. Misha another 8/10 behind. Same for BQC. So there's still DRS all the way down to 13th in this race, who is Eric, who's trying to get past EV and Darot to then catch up to the top 10 and try to build his way into the top 10, but he's got to make these moves soon. But still, this is a crazy lead. The top 3 out on their own now, really, the front 2 battling over this, because Blackberry, TGF, out of nowhere, I will say this, have become almost an entirely strong competitor here tonight to actually possibly take the victory, possibly get close, because he Chazzy closing up at the same time. He's closed in quite a bit on the brakes. But it's a rather interesting race that's going down here. It's going to be a very interesting race as today goes on. You can see the gap reducing. It's reducing and reducing. BQC, by the way, up into P4. He is on a level of his own. Misha's really struggling all of a sudden. Whoa! Some front wing flying off almost 4 wide. There goes so many cars past the RB. I believe that's Harpe who has the damage. It is Harpe who has the damage. I think that came off of Misha, but Misha now dropping down the order. Misha's down to P9. AMS struggling to get away with any points here today. A real struggle coming from themselves, and this is not working out for them. They could even drop outside of the points very soon. Peck Dave now up into P6. You can see a move happening further behind. Misha's now getting past Harpe once again. Finally getting past him, back up into P8, but still only 4 points on his way in today's race. Whoa, Harpe going off track there. Zirconium gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And here comes Misha trying to go down the inside. EV now goes down the inside of Harpe, up into P9. There's a yellow flag, I believe. That is Groatsmurf. Yes, it is. RE having one of the toughest debuts of them all. Very much one of the toughest debuts. I think the toughest we've ever seen as a double DNF. But so far, RE still running 13th and 16th. It's pretty close. But look at how close Blackberry is. Look at how close Chazzy is as well. They've pulled off by 2 seconds ahead of everybody else. The front 3 are 2 seconds ahead of P4. This is massive. This is massive. The front 3 are all on their own in this race. We saw this a bit last season as well, where we'd sometimes see the top 3 or 4 very much run off with a race all by themselves. Groatsmurf now retires from the race. He understands it is his time to be done. So now Zirconium is last of them all. But look at this. BQC about to be under attack. But we're about to see also, look at this. Chazzy trying to go for it. Look at this. Blackberry trying to take the lead. Barbance is still there. 3 wide. 3 wide into the next section. Barbant loses the lead of the race for the first time in 14 laps here on lap 15. He's led for so long, 3 wide into the next corner. Barbant's trying to fight his way past. He's unable to, and he's now down to P3, and that is disappointing because BlackBerry is starting to run away with it very slightly, already about half a second in front. But that is crazy because going on to lap 15, it means lap 15 has been led by TGF, the first team other than ABE to lead a lap. 14 laps led from ABE, 1 will be led by TGF here tonight. Very interesting to see, but look at this. Chazzy now wanting the lead. TTRE wanting to take a lead. They didn't lead many laps last season. They didn't lead a huge amount. I believe they led something like 45. But BlackBerry now fighting for a win here. But this has actually allowed Rajic and all the way down to P9 to catch up again. So we could actually... There's a lot of drivers who could now win this. Realistically, there's a lot of drivers. There are currently 9 different drivers who could take this and actually win. So, to be fair, there's a lot of chances going on here, but I don't think Barbant is going to be one of them who's going to be taking the lead for a little while, because he's now down to 3rd, while the front two, Chazzy and BlackBerry, both lead. Eric now gets a 3-second time penalty, not going to help him by the end of the race. Here comes BlackBerry down the inside, trying the same move he did earlier, and he is going to still try and fight it. But no, Chazzy's going to lead. You can just see Barbant getting a little bit worried because the 2 Peck drivers have caught up rather a large amount. They've caught up a lot. But let's have a look at the tyres. Everybody's on hard tyres. Everybody was on mediums. Now everybody is on hards. Holy. This is crazy. But Barbant now is feeling he's going to be feeling a little bit vulnerable here with Barbant because he's got now 2 drivers. He's got 2 Peck drivers who are right behind him. He's stuck in a sandwich, and this sandwich is going down currently to about P8. Misha and EV fighting. Misha loses out though, so he had a massive wobble. He loses out, and he's down to P9. His teammate right behind him, Eric, who does have a penalty. But this is some crazy racing. AMS are not looking like they're going to walk away well from this. They're not looking like they're going to score big points at the end of the day. Whoa, 3 wide for a moment there. But AMS now, P8 and P9, currently will not see those places come to them. I believe they'll only be looking at around P8 and P10 for the moment. That's all they're looking at right now. Whoa, big slide from Misha! Big mistake from Misha. He locked the rears and into the right-hander. He's lost all of his places. The race has not gone well for him here. He's struggled. He's struggling more now. And he's down to P15. And AMS's day is just getting worse for them. Lap by lap, it is getting worse for Misha especially. But that is not what he would have wanted. It's the same also for the McLaren duo of ABE, who are only 3rd and 10th for the moment, who were 1-2 at the end of qualifying. But look at this, BlackBerry and Chazzy both there. Look at Chazzy, he's having a battle now with Barbant. They're both going side by side. Barbant's trying to gain a place. He has actually gained that place. And there goes Barbant up into that lovely place of P2 again. Whoa! Big slide from Rajic. Some contact there with, I believe that was Chazzy it was. That is, very dangerous. But now it is a full-on 5-way fight, by the way. This is a full-on 5-way fight for the win. And now I can confirm this is the longest period. Barbant has not led for the previous 4 laps, by the way. But here comes Chazzy again. I don't know how to see this TTRE driver. He is trying to pull off some sort of move on Barbant after losing a place. But he is fighting hard for it. But I will say now, Barbant has found his pace again. He's no longer stuck behind BlackBerry as much. And Chazzy's now just stuck behind the Alpine. But here he comes down towards turn 1 he goes. He's going to retake the lead. It's taken 5 laps to retake the lead of this race. 4 laps without leading. But he is now leading once again. And that is exactly what Barbant would have been looking for here tonight for ABE. That's 10 points more than where he was a minute ago. And now there he is. Takubi, by the way, making his way up to P8 now. He's chasing down AMS Eric. The best that I could see Takubi getting is only the place, I believe that was Rusted Bolt going down a few places, but the best place I could see Tagubi getting at the moment is possibly P6. That's the best I could see he could get. It's either P7 or P6 today. So for AB, it's a good recovery for Tagubi, but he could be getting post-race penalties. So I've seen a few people talking about him. He might be getting post-race penalties as he does make that move on AMS Eric for P7. That's a strong one from him. Maybe I jinxed it. Maybe I did a bit too early. Maybe I jinxed the chance of AMS doing a back-to-back title, especially with how their current race is going. But remember, Tagubi might be getting more penalties. Any of these drivers might be getting penalties post-race, so it could all come down to that. So we'll have to see after the race. Now, heading down the pit straight once again to start lap number 20 and to count the final 10 laps of tonight's race. Who is going to lead? It's the first lap led by AB in 5 laps. But look at this. Chazzy trying to make a move on Blackberry. They're going side by side. They're trying to fight. And pretty close, we can see nobody wants to risk it. They've seen what risking it can do. See, Rajic's also in this fight at the moment. He's trying. Of course, he does have that penalty, which will currently drop him behind Tagubi down to P7 at the moment. But you've still got these drivers who are in a good chance and in a good fight here for position. Nothing's saying none of these drivers could win. We're still seeing Tagubi starting to close in. He's starting to get closer and closer. And that's going to be something that, of course, is quite interesting. But before I continue, if you guys are liking the stream, please think about subscribing and leaving a like to FRLT. Also, please think about clicking on the notification bell to know about all of our streams, all of our shorts, and all of our content during the week. Ultimately, it is now time to continue watching the action and continue to watch how these drivers do and how well they can perform here tonight, because that is going to be an important thing, because Barbans is starting to pull away. But of course, as you know, Misha gets a 3-second time penalty, gets another one, even more disappointing for AMS, because see, the minute he does that, Chazzy closes in by 0.2 purely because of DRS. And these are the 2 shorter zones, by the way. These are the 2 shorter zones on the track. So I just want to say that when you close down by about a 10th and a half, maybe even 0.2, that's quite a big sort of difference. But Barbans definitely is not running away from this race. There's no chance he can run away with it. We're seeing some racing further back, as Peck Dave, by the way, has made the move on Blackberry. My question now is, has Blackberry used up his tyres a little bit too early? Because he's now down to P4. He was leading just 2-3 laps ago, and now he's down outside of the podium places. He's fighting over a possible P5 here. Now here comes the other Peck driver, Rajic, trying to make a move, but unable to make it yet. Barbans having a bit of a battle there. I missed that for a second, but Barbans is trying to run away now. We've got 3 wide going into the next corner. Now that reduces to 2 wide, but Blackberry, thinking of a mistake from picking up on that mistake from Chazzy, now is up into P3. It's a yellow flag for DeWote, by the way. Their week has been... This week has been a rough one for RE. But Peck, now P2 and P3 in this race. Incredible to see from themselves. But they're over a second behind Barbans now, a second and a half. This is not going to help them. This has actually pushed them really far back. And at the moment, any chance. Virtual safety car. I'm not sure from what. DeWote is going into the pits. He retired. So a double RRE retirement. First of all. Peck, though. Up onto the double podium now. Up onto that double podium. Interesting to see going on. We've had 4 retirements this race, by the way. Christian from TGF, Vortex from TIE, Grotsmouth and DeWote from RRE. This race proving to be something very different. But for Barbans here, it's actually kind of good because it's allowing him to save some more of his tyres, go at a decent speed, close down the race, finish the race a little bit earlier than expected, finish the race just that tad bit easier. And this has also allowed a couple of drivers to close up for the podium battle because BQC and Tagubi have both now closed in on these guys for P4, P5, P4, P3 and P2. And Rajic will definitely fall through now. Takubi's expected to get post-race penalties, by the way. He's expected to get post-race penalties. So it's all up for grabs here. But we have so many teams here, and they are getting racing again. But this has actually kind of left Barbance in a little bit of a mess going down the straight because Peg Dave has been able to get a good exit. His teammate Rajic now goes in front. Rajic, now it's time for him to try and push and close in on the drivers in front. You can see a lot of racing happening everywhere. Look at this, side-by-side action. Here comes Blackberry down the inside of Peg Dave. Look at this, almost 3-wide action going on. Oh! Takumi, four-way contact. Eric gets more contact in this race. Takumi squished in the middle of all of it. BQC has got damage. Chazzy, I think, has damage as well. He's got double front wing end plates gone. Holy, what is going on? What is going on tonight? Barbance stretching out his lead more. And it's now between TGF and Peck to get that double podium. 3 different teams on the podium. Only ABE will be an existing team before Season 3 to have done it. But what is going on here tonight? Whoa! Chazzy out! AMS Eric, massive contact! Holy! What is going on? What is going on with some of these guys? Holy! BQC gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, but I have no words for this. I have no words. Generally no words for this. BQC now retires from the race. This leaves us with 12 drivers. Oh my god. Holy. And I'm not saying this purely out of spite or like anything, but this all seems to revolve around one man. Quite a few of these incidents today. You're looking at him. Takubi has been part, by the way, of 2 or 3 incidents so far. That's, I believe, his 3rd or 4th incident of the night he's been part of. So I think we'll be seeing Takubi pop up in a lot of reports, in a decent amount of reports. The safety car does change things, of course. Barbert's now reeled back in an easy win. Doesn't look like it'll be an easy win anymore, but holy. I just have no words for that. It was going to a decent degree, shall we say, before today. Before that incident, it was going fine. We've had 2 retirements on one single lap. Lap 23 saw 2 retirements. The most we've had this race, by the way. Many retirements in this first race. Of course, LR also not racing here tonight. That's why we have 18. It's not because 2 drivers couldn't join. It is because LR didn't have a lineup for tonight. Which does leave us, sadly, with just 12 drivers. We would have actually had 14. If, of course, they didn't crash, but we would have had 14. But it's interesting. Still, 2 retirements were from choice, by the way. 2 retirements were from choice. That was DeWoe and Groatsmurf. Which would have made it to 14. But it's still shocking to have 6 retirements in this race. Generally quite shocking. Especially with the late safety car as well, which has changed things. Some drivers go into the soft, some drivers go into the mediums. Both ABE drivers going to the medium tyres, by the way. While all of these guys have gone to the softs. Everybody has gone to the softs except Harpe, Eric, Misha, Mario, and we're seeing EV come into the pits. He will have a drive-through, but of course he might get that removed since it was overtaking under yellows, which I believe it was done, but he was trying to just get into the pit lane. Which is still a game glitch, which is shocking that it's still a game glitch to date. But yeah, we're gonna be waiting for a little bit longer. I think we'll be waiting till the end of lap 25, so we'll have either 3 or 4 laps of racing to remain in tonight's race, which has been, if I was to say entertaining, it'd be a very stretched word, but it might have a few other words in the middle, but you know, we'll have to see. But yeah, I will still say we have had some good racing. We've still had some pretty good racing and some pretty clean racing to some degree. I'm not saying everything was clean racing. I'm not saying all of it was clean racing. I'm saying like we've had a decent amount for like quite a while. The fact that we went like 14 laps without like having an incident between drivers, I'll say that's kind of a win, especially from 2 safety cars to start the race. In the first like 10 laps, we had 2 safety cars. So I'll say it's okay, but we're only going to have 4 laps of racing to remain. It's Peck Dave overtook Barbance, by the way, same as Blackberry. I think Barbance went off a bit. But now it's going to be Barbance. It's going to be a big battle now over positions. A lot of drivers having penalties, remember. So this is the last sprint. This is the 4 laps. Remember, Barbance is on the medium tyres. He's on that slower compound. He's got to get a good getaway. If he doesn't, he'll be having Peck Dave, Blackberry, Rajic, and his teammate all over the back of him. Possibly the rest of the grid as well, especially with drivers like Eric and Misha on the soft tyres. Proved to be strong. And actually, it's not been a good restart from Barbance again. He's had a rather weak restart. He hasn't gotten away well. He's now down. He's only 3 tenths in front. Not as good as his last restart, but not a good first turn 1 for Peck Dave. It wasn't a good restart from Blackberry either. He had a rather slow restart. People saying Barbance is lagging. I'm not seeing any lag. I will say that I'm not seeing any lag. So it could be you, it could be him. Who knows? I do apologize. From spectator cam, it is different. So I do know that on this year's game, lag appears for some drivers, not for others in spectator mode. So I do apologize that I don't know. But yeah. So now heading down the back straights, 3.5 laps remain. It's the last push. But look at this. Peck Dave has kept up with Barbance, who of course is on those medium tyres. He's not going to have the pace. He's not going to really have anything. As soon as DRS is enabled, he's not going to have anything on these guys. Blackberry has not gotten away well. He's had a rather weak start. Look at this. Rajic heading down the inside. He's made the move work. And that's exactly what Peck needed. They needed Rajic to cover off. But now, over a second behind. And that's not really what Peck should have... Maybe that's not what Peck should have done. Because it was a mistake. But you can see, Blackberry's definitely struggling. Something has happened to Blackberry. He is struggling. Everybody's setting different laps. Peck Dave just set the fastest lap of the race, by the way. He just set the fastest lap of the race. Now heading down this second straight. Still no DRS in the lap, but still incredible pace. Coming from Peck here tonight. Peck will be the highest scoring team, by the way. If they currently finish the way that they are. Actually, no. ABE will still top the tables. They'll still top the tables, but very closely followed by Peck. But, oh, bit of a mistake from Peck Dave. You can see Barbance using his ERS to the limit. How much did he just use? That's my question. How much did he just use? Not sure, but he used quite a bit. He used a decent amount, I do think. I think he used half his battery there. But back-to-back DRS is going to hurt him, of course, because all of that gaining has literally just been lost out in those 2 DRS zones, the 4 zones around the track. But this is going to be an interesting end because Takubi's already over a second behind Rajic. It's not been a good getaway from these guys, but Takubi's still there. Will still get up to P3, double podium still on for him. But of course, post-race penalties might come in for either team. Takubi's just set, Barbance just sets the fast lap. That's beaten by Rajic immediately, who's been a lot faster than these two. And now you could just see with the DRS open, it is now a 3-way fight. It's back to being a 3-way fight. That ERS spent by Barbance has actually gained him nothing. Zirconium, by the way, making a move up to P6, followed by AMS Eric, who's also doing the same. He's up to 7th now in this race. AMS having a bit of a comeback. We've got only about a lap and a half left. The grid's quite split. You can see EVs in the pits. Serving a drive-through, I believe it was. But now you can see Barbance making his way around. But again, the DRS proving to be incredibly dangerous for him. Because Peck is now closing by another 10th this lap. Oh, big moment. Rusted Bolt drops down a few places. AMS drivers going for a battle on track. They're really going for it here. AMS hoping for P6 and P7, at least a decent performance to walk away with at the end of tonight's race. You can see, I believe, that is the man of Rusted Bolt getting overtaken by Soviet Mario. And there it is. Soviet Mario is passed. And now Rusted Bolt down to P10 in this race. Ooh, it's becoming a bit of an interesting one. We've lost an entire team here tonight. We've lost quite a few drivers. We've lost 6 drivers here tonight. But on to the final lap they go. We've got to watch these front 3 as Barbance is trying to rip his car around the track as fast as he can. trying to use everything he's got to stay in front of Peck Dave, who is chasing the victory. Harpe gets a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help him. He's already P11 and outside of the points. But this battle in front has been mighty here tonight. It really has. We've seen a lot of incidents, a lot of crashes, a lot of racing. But it's now all up to Barbans and all up to Peck Dave to make the difference. He's 6/10 behind. He's a bit far behind for this. He's going to have to use everything he's got when it comes down to this straight. He's using everything he's got. He is closing in so much. He's going to wait till the next DRS zone to make the move. He's going to do it here. Here we go. Heading down towards the next corner. He's going to be sending it. It's going to the outside. He heads to the outside. Can he get the drive off for the exit? He's trying to get the drive off for the exit. Peck Dave is all over the back of Barbans. He's gone a little wide. He's not going to be able to make the move, sadly. It will be Barbans who rounds the final corner, who's led an unbelievable amount of laps, almost an entirely perfect race. Barbans wins in Australian FRLT Tier 1 in round 1 of Season 3. Takubi up to P3, Rajic down to P4. The AMS drivers swap places. P6 and P7 at the end of the day. Ooh, what an end. What an end to a race that has been quite interesting to watch, I will say. Quite an interesting race to see here tonight. But a rather interesting race. Apologies for the poor screen. I'm having to click things off of the screen. But yeah, incredible performance from some of the drivers. Barbans really on a level that was almost entirely almost undeniable for him to win. But Peck Dave coming with a late charge, same as drivers like Blackberry, who also had a very, very solid day. But Peck coming in late, very late to the race. But P2 and P4, I believe they got solid performance from them. But this is the order of the race. It's a double podium for ABE with Barbans in first and Takubi third. Peck Dave gets onto the podium. He goes from 17th to 2nd. And I'm going to say he's my driver of the day. I will say that he is my driver of the day. Rajic is in 4th with Blackberry finishing 5th. AMS Eric in 6th. AMS Misha in 7th. Soviet Mario in 8th. Russell Bolt 9th. Zirconium in 10th. Harpe 11th. And Evie in 12th. Of the retirees, BQC, Chazzy, DeWote, Groatsmurf, Vortex, and TGF Christian. Ooh. What a day it was. What a very full and interesting day it was. Yeah, definitely some things to look back on. I will say it's a rather interesting thing to look back on. That's almost all I've got. We're gonna see if anybody wants an interview here tonight. We're gonna see whether anybody wants to have a great interview. I've got to find them first. It was also another. So we're going to be looking if we can have interviews from our drivers in the next few moments. I'm waiting to see whether they want to have any interviews here tonight. If not, it is solid either way. Interesting first race. I will say that. I think that's probably the right thing to say. An interesting first race we walk away with here tonight. Definitely standards maybe need to be picked up. But yeah, so I don't think we're going to be having any drivers coming in for interviews, which is really disappointing not to have any drivers in for interviews here tonight. Yeah. Solid day from some drivers, tough day in some other areas. But yeah, something that I think will be fixable. But ultimately, with that, I'm going to have to say goodbye to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please think about subscribing and leaving a like. Also, please think about clicking on that notification bell to know about all the content we post here. Also, make sure to go follow us on TikTok at FRLTF1 and also on Twitter as well, or X. It's down below. I think it's in the link. There's a link down below to it. Also, thank you to our affiliates, SimRacing Centre or SRC. You might have seen it on the thumbnail. Their link to their Discord server is down below. Make sure to go and join it. You can get setups, race strats, everything from them, basically, from pretty much every single SimRacing game. Very interesting, but yes. Now, we'll just have one last look at the calendar for tonight. We'll have one last look. We've completed Australia now, and now it is time to go to China for next week on the 4th to 12th. Make sure to join us for that. Also, we'll be then going to Singapore and Vegas before the winter break for Christmas. Then we'll be returning in the new year for Monza, Austria, Britain, and Kota before we have our final break week where we go to the final 2 races in Abu Dhabi and Belgium that finishes on the 19th of February. Also, we've got fours this Sunday. Make sure to join us for fours. Don't forget, always join us for fours. For fours, the calendar next for this week, for this Sunday, make sure to join us at 8 p.m. It's Monza. I was trying to find the race that we're going to. It is Monza on the 1st of the 12th, on the 1st of the Christmas holidays. Make sure to come and join us. Yeah, make sure to come and join us. Ultimately, that is all. Thank you so much to all the drivers, managers, just everybody for helping. It's massive in the league. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please think about subscribing. And I'll be seeing you very shortly on Sunday. See you soon, and goodbye.